All right, we're recording now on the Bagland podcast. We got Brother Solomon back, and we're going to go right into this audio.
If you want to really see something that said, take a look at what happened.
Moving his hair. Hold. When you're ready. On you.
Ready?
Move.
Up.
Move. Go.
Up. Hawkeye's here.
Hawkeye's here. Move it to the stair.
Stair, get ready. Stair, get ready.
We ready?
Let me get my shoes. Let me get my shoes.
Got you, sir. I got you, sir.
Let me get my shoes.
Hold that in your head, it's bloody.
So we gotta move to the bus. Move to the bus. Let me get my shoes.
Okay, my shoes down.
So let me get my shoes.
out.
And he kept saying, wait. Now, I want everybody. Now I'm going to walk through this just a little bit. Now it looks like the Secret Service. You're seeing the blood on, next to him. You're seeing the Secret Service ushering him out. They're responding quickly. They're responding like they should. But I want everybody to think about something tonight. Now, looking at that footage that I sent, that I first saw, okay, there are some things that I'm noticing. I'm definitely not calling it fake, but I will say this. When the crowd knew that shots were being fired, there were people getting up and taking pictures with their phones. Now, most people, when you hear shots fired and stuff going on, everyone's ducking. There was a lot of people not ducking. I thought that was very, very strange. Now, I'll say this. Even if it is fake, and I'm not saying it is, it's over for Joe. Because he did one thing that I've never seen nobody do. Let's just say that it is real. They say they got somebody. They're probably going to show the mugshot. It could be. I don't know. He went out like a gangster. He put up the fist like, yeah, y'all tried to take me out and it didn't work. And you know what? That resonates with certain people. That resonates with folks. Because when you first sent it to me, and then I didn't see. I seen the video first, but then when I seen the still of him holding up the fist, like, yeah, nigga, I'm Tupac. You tried to take me out and it didn't work.
Yeah.
I said, uh-oh, it's over. You're not the only person that said that to me. So I had other people texting me like, oh, it's a rap, DP. I had niggas sending me LOLs like, oh, it's over. He's won this by a landslide. It's a wrap. Because one thing he could say is, oh, this was the Democrats. You sent your flunky and it didn't work. There's multiple different pieces of information in which people are saying, well, it's this guy, it's that guy. I'm not going to say anything until we get a little bit more information. But just the optics of it, the first thing, the Democrats, what they don't want to do is they don't want to say, because understand, this is he's an ex-president, but he's protected by the Secret Service. That's why I was telling you, like, it doesn't matter where you're a sitting president or not. You still got Secret Service people following you everywhere you go. You can't run up on no ex-official. Can't nobody run up on Clinton or Hillary or anybody that was even their kids. This is what's going to happen to you. I'm making that real crystal clear. If you run up on any sitting politician that's protected by the Secret Service and you act like you going to put hands on them or you act like you going to try to do something to them, you going to get blown away and you going to get your neck broke. That's what's going to happen to you. You going to get hurt. And you're probably going to get unalived. I'm not going to use the K word because YouTube be on some. But you going to get unalived. That's a guarantee. You try to put your hands on an ex-president or somebody like, yeah, you going to get hurt. And you going to get unalived for sure. If you think you thinking about using a deadly weapon or whatever, you gonna get hurt. I
I
wouldn't
know
advise.
some people that looking to see Obama.
I wouldn't advise anybody to do that. I wouldn't advise nobody to do that, because what you're gonna do is you're gonna be in the grave. That's exactly what's gonna happen to you. And if you ain't in the grave, you're gonna get a life sentence, or you're gonna get at least 15 to 20, 30 years. It's not gonna work out for you, no matter what you plan on thinking you're gonna do. And see, they're now saying from ABC News, I'm looking at a clip here. They're saying that the rally shooter used an AR-15 style rifle. We're gonna go into that clip in a minute. But if I was the campaign, and we've seen this before. And I sent an article to one of my homies about this. But we've seen this before, where Donald Trump's lawyer caused an outrage as she compared him to Tupac and Notorious Big. And what I have to say about that, this was a minute ago. Tupac's sister was not happy about it. But I know these words, I'm trying to not necessarily make light of the situation, because don't nobody want to get shot at. But if I was his campaign, I would tell him to say these words I'm about to say right now. If you want to come over here and not have people in your videos, and you don't want open borders, sign up with the GOP. Sign up with the if you don't want folks dancing in your videos, and you don't want open borders and illegal aliens flooding your states down in Texas, sign up with the GOP. This is like Tupac versus Forgetfull Smalls. This is Tupac versus Forgetfull Smalls. If his campaign, and see, they want to try to, whatever little bit of relegation they could get with the black vote, come out with Hail Mary. Come out, play this right here. This the next time he comes out in a debate or he does another rally, he need to play this. Hit him up. That's what he needs to play. That's what I'm guaranteeing you that's what he needs to play.
That motherfucker's lucky to be alive.
Well, the way that this is what he said. You sent me something else, and this is what it said. It said here. This is what you sent me on TMZ. It says, and he just did this on. It looks like it was on. Is this Twitter? It looks like it's on Twitter, and he responded quick. See, that's the thing about the and like I say, I'm not vote for either one, but what I'm saying is, Don strikes back. If you say something to him, if you try to do something to him or whatever, he don't sit there and fumble around. He gets at it. He gets at it quick. He responds. He said, "I want to thank the United States Secret Service," and they jumped on it. That's exactly what they were supposed to do. Mm-hmm. And all of law enforcement for their rapid response on the shooting that just took place in Butler, Pennsylvania. I don't know where the hell Butler. Hold on, let's find out where that is. I'm just curious as to where Butler, Pennsylvania is. It's in Butler County, 35 miles north of Pittsburgh. Now there's a like a, I don't know if they call it like a joke, but there's an open saying in Pennsylvania. The first time I heard it was from Professor Black Truth. They said you got Philly in the east, Pittsburgh in the west, and everything in between is Alabama. That's been a thing that I've heard, and I heard it from a couple other people too. Now, when they say Alabama, what do you think they mean by that statement about Pennsylvania? I want to hear your thoughts.
Rural racism, old school racism.
Yeah, you get caught down bad in between in middle Pennsylvania or them little redneck rural towns, you might as well be in Mississippi. You might as well be. So, just so people don't get it confused and say, oh, well, this only goes down in the South. Oh, no. Try going up to Boston. I've been there. I know. Anyway, he says, I want to extend my condolences to the family of the person at the rally who was killed, and also to the family of another person that was badly injured. So, like I said, I'm not saying this stuff is fake. I did think it was a little eerie that people were just standing up taking pictures. But maybe some of those were veterans or something. I don't know. But, if somebody... Think about this. This hasn't happened since JFK. You know, for you to jump up and go to a rally of an ex-president among the Secret Service, whoever did this, I don't think they acted alone. And what's going to happen is, I think that his base is going to start trying to blame the Democrats. This situation could get a lot more dangerous than people think. Okay? This is going to cause a ripple effect, I think, among America. Now, he says, it is incredible that such an act can take place in our country. Nothing is known at this time about the shooter, who is now dead. Now, they may not know much, but we're going to know more about this within the next few hours. Tomorrow morning, they're going to have all kind of information on this dude. He says, I was shot with a bullet that pierced the upper right of my right ear. Another thing, with him to sustain these kind of injuries, and you and I, we're not Navy SEALs. We don't have any military experience, but we're smart enough to know that if you hit his ear, you were a damn good shot, because they mentioned an AR-15 style rifle. That person was probably pretty far away. So whoever did this had some kind of training, which makes this even more devious and dangerous, because, for you to go out and try to shoot this guy, piercing the upper right of his ear. He said, I knew immediately that something was wrong, and that I heard a whizzing sound, shots, and immediately felt the bullet ripping through my skin. Much bleeding took place, so I realized then what was happening. God bless America. I mean, that was a hell of a shot. That was a hell of a shot, man. I just, now they got a picture of the alleged gunman.
What is he, white?
I'm assuming he probably is, but I don't know. I just find it very, very interesting that all those people heard the shots. And I just want to play it one more time. Let me go to the back. Let me play it, raise up the volume. So he's giving a speech.
Something that said, take a look at what happened.
Okay, it said boom, 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 boom. Let me go back. Listen.
Said, take a look at what happened.
There goes another one.
Move to spare. Hold. When you're ready. On you. Ready. Move. Up. Move. Go.
Hawkeye's here.
This crowd, man, okay, then I see two officers or two other people. They look like they're part of the SWAT team, and they got their AR-15s. And the crowd I've never seen anything like this. Unless this dude had a silencer. Maybe he had a silencer or something. Now, the silencer, for all those that don't know, a silencer still makes noise. It just lowers the decibels very, it really suppresses the decibels. I don't know, man. Maybe he did have a suppressor. I wouldn't be surprised if he did. I wouldn't be surprised, because it wasn't extremely loud, but did you hear that sound? How it was like whistles, or it was, so maybe Trump could have been just giving his speech, and then you hear, that's how it sounds when bullets are flying past. It sounds like they're whizzing past. He said they whizzed past, so he heard them. So this person was a great shot. They're going to find out who this is really fast. They're not going to waste no time. They're going
They said he was on top of a rooftop.
Well, okay, let me look at that, because I think there's another, let me see here. Shots fired, bloodied but defiant. And then he raised up the, okay, let's see if we can, hold on.
Yeah, Trump was the fight. He raised up.
You can see the guy there.
They're pointing to it. This could be the person.
I think they hit him because the guy he looks dead. You can see the guy there.
They're talking about the guy that was on the rooftop.
I think they hit him because the guy he looks dead.
Yeah, let me tell you, They don't get no folks from the Secret Service. They don't get no Rudy Poo from the Secret Service. You know what I'm saying? They don't just get no anybody from the damn Secret Service. You got to go through all kinds of, and see, they're gonna find out this guy's address. You got to think this is a city. This is an ex-president that's running to be president of the United States. They're going to go to this guy's house. Ain't gonna be no constitutional law, none of that. The FBI, the minute they find out who this guy is, let me tell you, they're going to where he lived. They're going to his parents' home. They're going to his friend's home. Everybody's getting rounded up tonight. Everybody. Believe that. They pulling up. They're already there. Matter of fact, I think they knew who this guy was in the first 30 minutes. They have intelligence groups. This wasn't something where they were sitting. Huh?
He probably had on ID in his wallet.
Yeah, man. They went. The FBI were headed to his crib within probably 30 minutes. They got tactical teams that's ready to go. When you have stuff like
his family was with him.
His family was with him.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, that one clip I sent you on TMZ with the white dude talking, he said his family was with him.
So
they were screaming at the top too.
So you're saying the guy was with other people when he did this?
Yeah.
Oh man. Okay, hold on. Let me see what else I can find here. Yeah, and see, all this did is make him even more infamous. That's all this did, bro.
That is it.
Yeah. It made him even more infamous. And then on the fact, his defiance. You know, white people, and it doesn't matter whether they're right or wrong, when white people see another white man in a position of power, striking defiance and basically getting up almost like, you got to think, they look at that like back in like the Revolutionary War. They look at that like, yeah, they tried to get him, but he's still like, man, I'm going to finish my speech. They had to drag him off of there. He still want to talk. He started talking about his shoes and all this kind of stuff. They resonate with that. That's gangster to them. They look at that like, oh, he's a gangster. I like that. While you got somebody out here that when he gets attacked, he's not really responding. You get somebody like Harris. They question her black credentials. Hey, what you done for black folks? You said you been at this HBCU. When she gets attacked, she don't say anything. You see what I'm saying? She don't really say nothing. She just tries to hide behind, her little HBCU credentials. And, she said, well, hey, let's get with Taraji and let's talk about Project 2025. Let's use the boogeyman. That ain't going to work no more. You're dealing with...
You got to think sometimes, why would Kamala even want to get an HBCU degree?
Well, here's the thing. Her dad's Jamaican, right? So... you got to think, she hung out with black men early on in the stages.
Oh, there's Jamaican.
She got propped up. Of course, she's going to probably go to See, here's the thing about the HBCUs you got to understand. The HBCUs are not like how they were back in the day when they probably first just started. The reason why the HBCUs were even created, it was because other black folks couldn't go to certain colleges. But they got infiltrated. Now you got a bunch of bootlicks and sambos that's running them for the most part. And matter of fact, I'm looking at this. I was going to wait for this article earlier, but since we're on it, and we'll move on to the next subject soon. There's an article I'm looking on CNN Business. Unstereotyped. Meet the white valedictorian of a historically black college. Remember what I told you before. A white dude from South Africa. Let's take Elon Musk. You know what he could do? He could come over here and say, you know what, DP? Nigga, you ain't no real African American. I'm African American. I'd be like, well, I've never been to Africa. He'd be like, well, DP, I was born there. And now I'm in America, so that makes me an African American. Now let me come over here and get that HBCU. Let me get an HBCU grant. And there's a white guy that actually sued for it. You see what I'm saying? He could be.
You have to be from South Africa. That's the only place somebody white could say they're African.
Right? Yeah. They can only do that. But you see how dangerous that could be. He could say, well, you know, and I could be like, well, nigga, you ain't black. And he'd be like, well, I never said I was black. I said I'm African American. I'm more African than you, nigga, because I was born there. You wasn't born in Africa. You never been to Africa. And I could be like, well, my lineage, couple thousand years, you know, my genetics trace back to Africa. You know, I'm a black American. I'm the descendant of the slaves. And the white dude could be like, well, you're still not African. I'm African. I was born here. And I'm like, you're from Europe. He'd be like, nah, you see, I speak South African. And they could go to an HBCU and sue to be there if I raise hell. Like, wait a minute, hold on. This is for brothers. Now, they done let it in people of color and all them other folks. This is really for brothers. But now you're telling me that I have to accept you there. Then he could say, oh, reverse racism. You see what I'm saying? So going back to her at an HBCU, she could use the sister girl, collard greens, hot sauce, whatever little sorority, little clique that she was in, and then jump up and say, well, yeah, shout out to Tupac and Phife Dawg, whether she listened to the song or not. You see what I'm saying? But Tribe Called Quest. But then remember what that now remember that picture I sent you. I'm kind of going off subject a little bit, but since we're on it, we might as well cover it. You remember that picture I sent you of TLC?
Yeah.
And I said, all right, now we've been black all our life. We've lived in the same damn state. Your folks come from Eritrea. My folks come from the descendants of the slaves here. But you've been black all your life. Now, even if you didn't have no family that can trace their folks right back to 40 acres and a mule, you know what that t-shirt means when you see 40 acres and a mule. You understand what that means. Yeah. So when you got somebody that says 20 acres and a mule, you're like, okay, you're sitting in front of a bunch of black people. You're detached. There's no way you could be joking. And if you are, you're really off code. You're off code just saying that right off the jump. You ain't shit for saying that right off the jump. And if you're playing with us and you're joking, you're extremely disrespectful. That's like me going to Jamaica and saying, shout out to Bob. Jamaica may be like, nigga, what the hell did you just say? Oh, I meant Bob Marley. Oh, nigga, you gonna have a problem. Somebody gonna check me for that. Like, nigga, who the fuck you think you is coming over here talking about Bob? You better know the name. You see what I'm saying? I'm gonna get checked. Oh, there's gonna be some folks in Jamaica that's gonna have some words for me. Maybe even hands and feet. Who the hell you think you? Oh, well, I didn't really know his name. You a black man. 20 acres and a mule. A black man going to Jamaica and doesn't know Bob Marley's last name. Okay, what's the song? Well, I thought his song was Freedom Will Overcome. They gonna look at me like I'm crazy. Like, nigga, I shot the sheriff. How do you not know that? You see what I'm saying? They gonna snap. They gonna snap. I'm gonna get checked. I'm gonna get checked. I couldn't go to a hood in Jamaica and start making fun of Bob Marley and saying all kind of slick stuff. So I might get killed. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. So, and rightfully so, because that's disrespectful. So that HBCU, you saying, why would you go to HBCU? They groom these folks from the jump. They're like, okay, there's a, man, I want to see if I can find this clip. Man. There's a clip. Basically, remind me later to pull it up, but it's a clip basically where it was some conservatives and it was some liberal white people that were at a dinner table. They were very wealthy and they were talking about the conservative was basically saying, well, you know, you just want these black folks you just want to take care of them. You want to assimilate with them. You want to make sure they're okay. And you know what the liberal said? He said, no, I don't. He said, see, you're a conservative. He said, you need to understand something. And this was a real movie. It was in 1972, but it had a lot of game. And he said, you know what? I don't want the black man to be angry. I want him to lose his culture and not be angry. I want him to assimilate the mind. I want to give him a good job. I want to basically make him a coon. That way, he can't really go back to his people and resonate with them. See, if he stays revolutionary, he stays angry, he's going to try to change the conditions of his people. He's going to try to say, well, wait a minute, hold on, wait a minute. We need some reparations. We need a crime bill. We need, we need some change in my community. If he's angry and he's sitting back thinking like, well, damn, I don't want this to go down. I don't like these conditions. I don't want to uphold the status quo. But if he's not angry and I give him a suit and a tie and a Cadillac and give him a Becky and tell him, hey, come over here with us. I got him. If you've seen this video, you'll be like, whoa, it was deep. It was deep. So yeah, that's how they get folks like that. She's kind of like one of them. And what they'll do is they'll throw a bunch of folks that might be having some family that's rooted in America. Because remember, when you look on her birth certificate, there's something going around where her birth certificate, it don't even say black. You see what I'm saying? So yeah. they'll get somebody that and they'll put them in these high positions, and then when we looking at them and at first we'll kind of be like, same thing with Obama. We like, okay, he's a real nigga, it's a black man, first black man. His wife, she's a foundational black. She's from the descendants of the slaves. We resonate with her. She from the hood. She understands our plight. And then we get down 8 years later and we start checking the nigga's paperwork like, hold on, the wool been pulled over our face. Like, what the hell? And we don't see it. And then he's calling us thugs in Baltimore and stuff. They groom folks like that, bro. It's a long process and they get them early. So if it's somebody like me or you, they ain't gonna pick me or you, because they know that as soon as they sit us down in a room and say, all right, nigga, look, they may not use the term I'm gonna use. They may not necessarily say, okay, be a coon. They're not gonna say it like that. They gonna say it like this. Oh, Solomon, your people over there. What do you think about people in Cedar Riverside? What do you think about your people that you grew up with? Can you stop hanging around them guys and kind of get around some other people? They're gonna put you around a whole bunch of white folk, and then you sitting up there looking like, well, damn, I kind of want to go back and get a guy roll and on Cedar Riverside. They be like, no, come over here to Edina. You don't need to be around those people. And if you say yes, they got you. If you say yes and you just go along and you just keep going to be like, okay, we groomed this nigga, we got him. He has no interest in his people. He has no interest in changing the status quo. He's not gonna buck up. We can buck break him. We gonna give him some money. We gonna have him a nice car, nice home. We'll buy him off. And there goes your politician. There goes your Congressional Black Caucus and stuff, man. So yeah, man, and they'll sit around. Remember I told you that I went to an award thing, and you had those same kind of folks that was going around like, you had that class of black folks that were like the holier than thou. Hey, I don't want to be around those Negroes over there. Are they like us? One of those kind of niggas. You know what I'm saying? The real, it's really more about self and, my degree, and I got this, and I went to an HBCU and stuff like that. And, they'll kind of be like that, so that, when you mention about that, let's move on. I got some notes. There's something you sent me here. But before I do, we were talking about, where like you could get an Elon or you could get a dude from Africa that's white. He could come in and say, well, I'm African American. That's why a lot of black folks is kind of like, well, man, I don't know about that. Because, see, if you say that, see, at first, black folks were, when we were kids, we used to kind of look at, I know I did, we used to kind of look at Africa as a mythical place. Not mythical like fake, but we used to look at it as, it's this big place with, tons of culture and Egypt and, you know what I'm saying? Like the pharaoh, not the pharaohs or the, King Tut, and oh man, it's great. Like now, I do remember when I used to hear things where they say they showed the little videos and used to hear stuff about cannibals and all this bullshit. And, you know, we never believed it, but they did try it. I never believed it because I have folks around me to say, well, no, that's cap. Because they always tell black people, well, this cannibalism is this going on. It's all that they, you know, and used to look at the cartoons and it'd be a lot of off codes, a lot of bad stuff where, you know, they would try to get black folks over here. But see, black people in America, black folk in America spend a lot of time studying Africa. We had scholars like John Henry Clark, J.A. Rogers, you know, even Malcolm X used to have when, you know, we had a lot of black people, black Americans spent a lot of time looking into the history of Africa for things maybe 3,000 to 4,000 years ago and whatnot. So they really couldn't pull that on us. They really couldn't get niggas to think, well, hey, you know, you got folks over here doing this, that, and the third. And we always knew that whatever the conditions was that was in Africa, it was because of a race soldier. Indirectly. Now, you may not think that, but we knew that they had something to do with it. Like, okay, yeah, you implemented slavery in East Africa. Even if they didn't necessarily take a bunch of slaves from over there, they did colonization. You know, you had all these European countries. Y'all are the reason why Africa is in the condition it's in. It's your fault. It's your fault. The Europeans did that. And we have documented evidence of that. So, you know, they really couldn't tell us like, oh, well, that didn't happen. You couldn't deny the African Holocaust. You just couldn't. So, but this is Smokey Robinson. Now, he said this a year ago. And then we'll go on to the next subject.
That you resent the idea. You have said that you resent the idea of being called an African American, that
Yes.
you are a black American.
Yes.
Explain.
I think that when they call black people who were born and raised for generations in this country, if you accept the handle of African American, that says that you don't accept being an American American. You don't accept being born in Chicago or New York or Detroit or wherever you were born. For generations, your family has been here, you know, built this country too. Sweat and tears and all that, you know, fought in every war, okay? So this is my country here. So I don't want to be called African American. I'm an American American. My people have died and done everything for this country.
No, wait a minute. Shoot, this is too loud. What was your thoughts from that, from hearing that, from Smokey Robinson? What did you think about that?
I agree.
Now,
I agree with him.
let me ask you this question too. And I guess I'm jumping along, but with the conversations, well, the podcast going great. I'm the one doing all the talking, but when you were coming up, you were born here, just like me. When you were coming up, do you remember when we were in class or being in school, what do you remember them telling us about Africa and just black history in America in general? What do you remember?
I remember they would play Roots during African American History Month. We played probably 15, 20 minutes a day for the whole month. That's it.
I remember the same thing. I didn't really dig deep down into, I'll say, the last 200-300 years of true black history until I got a little older. You remember in high school, I used to always be talking about reparations of 40 acres. I couldn't really break it down to what it really meant. I just knew it was old, you know. And I remember writing a paper, and the teacher got really, really pissed off because they were talking about Native American history. And they had a Native American woman in, and I'm going to go as far to say she was damn near like she looked white. She probably did have some native in her, but she was kind of like what I call a $5 Indian. And I start talking about slavery and reparations and stuff like that. And she started hitting me with the Black Americans are in high crime and in prison because they're lazy. I said, oh, and so she started hitting me with that, and some of the classmates started agreeing with her. Now, that would have been more that kind of conservatism talk. I didn't know what it meant at that time, but that was, if I were to say it now. And so the teacher was kind of like, well, hey, that happened a long time ago. And I wrote a paper on reparations, and I handed it to him like, wait a minute. There was some black folks that was in some of these tribes here that they weren't getting the same help on the reservations. And so I said, I want my 40 acres and a mule. And at the top of my paper, I put, I want 40 acres and a mule. And he told me I got to erase it. And I told him no. He thought I was going to tell him yes. So he was just confident, like, yeah, this nigga, if he don't want his grade. So he failed me. He failed me, bro. He failed me. And basically, like, if you don't change the title with this is not the paper that I want you to write or whatever. I said, well, we're talking about Native American history, and you leaving the black folks out, like y'all wasn't rounding, like natives wasn't rounding up these niggas and putting them back on the plantation. Some of them owned slaves. And he said, oh, that's not true. It was the union that helped you Negroes out. And I'm like, oh. So we got into like a mini spat in the front of the class. And I didn't really know as much as he did it about history at that time, but I knew enough to try to talk about them 40 acres. So he got bad. He got bad in front of the class, bro, and said, he slammed my paper down in front of everybody, trying to embarrass me and boogeyman me, and I'm going to fail you. Change the paper, Derek. I told him, you know what? I thought about it because I knew I would have been able to get a B. Man, I said, you know what? I'm not going to do it, man. And that's when he just got red and he failed me right in front of the whole class. And so right then I knew I'm on to something. So that's when you heard me ranting. You guys are probably wondering, well, why is DP on the bus ranting about reparations? Remember, I got on the bus and I had like a 15-minute rant all the way to your stop because, you know, you were the next stop from me. I was the last stop until they go over Southeast. So I ranted about it, and y'all were wondering, like, damn, why is this nigga so fiery about this subject and shit? It was because he had failed me, and, you know, he tried to make me basically just lie about it. And I'm like, well, no, this is history class. Let's cover it all. And so that's when I kind of knew, like, why was that teacher so mad if he was a history teacher? And then I kind of put it all together, like, he knew I was telling the truth. So, but he was pissed off that I understood that. And that's another thing that they do. And we remember being at South High. A lot of times what they used to do to black kids is if you were superb, you notice, bro, they didn't push us into these classes that we should have been in. They keep us lackluster. They kept us real lackluster. You know?
I mean, how many people you see now around here that can't even read?
Man, I do remember there were some kids in our class that couldn't really read, and I never really understood why. You know, because my parents used to take me to the library a lot. My mom used to always bring me until I went on my own. But when I started getting around other kids in class that they couldn't read very well, I mean, I don't know if they could read any better now, but I remember there was kids in class that couldn't really read, bro. I remember that. And they passed. Even now, I haven't met nobody that couldn't read in a long time.
And I'll tell you that the generation, a couple before us, they was just passing them motherfuckers without even reading or writing. You know, they get certain grants for African Americans graduating high school. So if you just show up and you black, you getting your diploma at one time.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, absolutely. You're not lying about that. There was a big thing in Baltimore when they were doing that. That was a huge thing. They were just passing kids. They was just, you know, and the kid come out of school and he's not able to do anything.
No, that's the goal. The goal is let's get our grant for passing you, and then let's make sure once you get into the real world, you ain't gonna be able to do nothing.
So now you 17. You can't read.
Right. You got a high school diploma, but you can't read or write or comprehend. What are you going to do in the world?
I mean, you're pretty much, if you think about back on the plantation, let's take it back there. They didn't want black folks to read. If you could read and write, man, you could figure some shit out. You could get something together. And they like, well, all right, well, if these niggas ain't reading, they're not going to be able to put nothing together. And see, that's why when you sent me a video, and I want to go back to that. And now you see why I rallied and I breathed hell and fire over this 94 crime bill. There was a video you sent me, but here's another one that I found. I'm going to try to find that other one, but this is what I found. Check this out.
We're heading a movement to right wrongs caused by the 1994 federal crime bill.
The controversial law has been blamed for the mass incarceration of many in the black
I should send you this video. I know this is outside the point, but I guess I'm going into the darker side of my mind. I really shouldn't say this, but damn it, I can't help it. I mean, if you've seen this video, you would say the same thing. I mean, this sister is stacked. I should send it to you right now. I mean, she is looking quite vivacious here.
Community, and now 10 Metro Atlanta men who served time under the now infamous law are asking President Joe Biden, who sponsored the bill, for pardon. 11 Alive's Bobeth Yates spoke with two of those men today. She joins us live outside the federal courthouse in downtown Atlanta. Bobeth.
Hey there. Well, just last week, the 10 men submitted their paperwork at the federal courthouse right behind me. Now, since 1994, the president and several other politicians have come out acknowledging the harsh sentence associated with this law. And now the men who served their time are hoping the stain of their conviction will be erased.
We're asking the federal government for an official act of forgiveness.
Eric Geralt spent 13 years behind bars after being convicted of conspiracy to traffic marijuana under a policy created by the 1994 crime bill.
They call it ghost dope with historical weight. So the ghost dope means that they don't actually have to have the drugs.
Did you hear that? Have you ever heard that term? Ghost dope? What the hell is that?
Amazing.
Incredible. I've never ghost dope. Poltergeist cocaine.
Oh, no.
Poltergeist cocaine.
Dope means that they don't actually have to have the drugs. And then
Lord.
Historical.
Traffic marijuana under a policy created by the 1994 crime bill.
They call it ghost dope with historical weight. So the ghost dope means that they don't actually have to have the drugs.
Wait a minute. Let me stop it again. I'm trying to wrap my head around this, man. I don't know if I'm hearing this right or if you're hearing this. Historical weight. Ghost dope. So there's no weight, but it's historical. The term of history, even, you have to have numbers. Something has to be behind it. You don't just say history and there's nothing behind it. You have to have something behind it.
Yeah. What it means is this. Is if I get caught with a gram of dope, all right? Then I get caught maybe a couple, 6-7 months later with about 4 grams of dope. Then I get caught with like 6 grams of dope. Now what they do is they accumulate it. So each time you get busted, you're getting busted for the other time too. If that makes any sense.
So 2 grams, okay, now nigga, we get your probation.
Say you get busted with 2 grams, yeah. Cocaine, yeah. If it's your first time, you might. Okay, you get off, even if you do time. Now you got that 2. Remember that 2 grams. Now let's just say you get caught with a pistol. When you got caught with that pistol, you got caught with the pistol and 2 grams.
Holy shit.
You see what I'm saying?
Whoa.
So any prior conviction will use against you again when you get convicted for something else.
So you can't go to trial. You get guilty. They're like, nah, nigga, you did it.
Yeah. Basically, what the 94 crime bill means is like, we going by your prior conviction. We're not really taking the time to get to know anybody. We going by your prior shit. That's how we're judging you.
You're a dope dealer, in so many words.
Yeah, dope.
You
so
deal
if I
dope.
get caught with a pound of dope, and then I do some time for it, then I get caught with another pound of dope. That second time, I got caught with 2 pounds of dope.
Damn. Okay, let me play it.
Caught with a pistol, and then you get caught with another pistol 2 years later. Now you got caught with 2 pistols.
Holy shit. Let me go back. Let me go back to this and see. I want to hear his explanation, because when I first listened to it, I didn't really pay as much attention as I should have. And I just want him to...
With historical weight. So the ghost dope means that...
Hold on, wait a minute.
For an official act of forgiveness.
Eric Geralt spent 13 years behind bars after being convicted of conspiracy to traffic marijuana under a policy created by the 1994 crime bill.
They call it ghost dope with historical weight. So the ghost dope means that they don't actually have to have the drugs. And then the historical weight is they can bring people in to say that you were bringing them a certain amount over a period of time. And then they just extract.
That's a RICO. Let me play this again. That's a damn RICO. That's a RICO without calling it a RICO.
They call it ghost dope with historical weight. So the ghost dope means that they don't actually have to have the drugs. And then the historical weight is they can bring people in to say that you were bringing them a certain amount over a period of time. And then they just extrapolate forward from that.
Atlanta resident Ricky Brown had a similar experience.
Now this is the brother right here that said he couldn't get a house. He had a business that he had to start because he couldn't get no job. You sent me a video of him, so he's on this video as well. I'll play it.
Of time, and then they just extrapolate forward from that.
Atlanta resident Ricky Brown had a similar experience.
I was charged with conspiracy, and we have to understand that the 94 crime bill, there was no drugs. I was never found with any drugs.
Wow.
It was all hearsay. Back then, 2-3 people could say, hey, I sold this guy some drugs, or we did a drug deal together.
Brown was sentenced to 13 years for conspiracy to sell crack cocaine, and he says those caught with the drug feared even worse.
I even had a roommate at one time. He had $10 worth of crack. He got 30 years.
Jeez.
If you were caught with 1 gram of crack cocaine, the law of the 94 crime bill said now, that 1 gram now, since you put baking soda in it, is now 100 grams.
Brown says the harsh sentences were unfair, and he and Geralt are joining 8 other Atlanta residents who are asking President Joe Biden for a pardon.
This was wrong then, and it's wrong now. We need to go back and look at these laws and look at how many lives that it has destroyed.
Sentiments echoed by Geralt.
We feel, and the federal government has admitted and accepted, that the 94 crime bill, along with the Sentence Reform Act, it was too harsh. It carried draconian sentences. It was unnecessary, and it was discriminatory.
Now, when we talk about draconian means you might as well say you in damn Nazi Germany. That's what that means. It means this shit is Orwellian. Have you ever seen the movie 1984? These laws are above and beyond anything just. Anything. They're nowhere close to being just. This is a system unlike. This is something you see in a science fiction film. That's really what he said. What he's saying when it comes to draconian laws.
Yeah.
Now, since the men has turned in their paperwork, they say other former inmates are joining their effort. Now they're just waiting on the Biden administration to respond.
You know what? Let me say this here. After just hearing that, I've been belly aching and bitching about the 94 crime bill for about 3+ years since I started this podcast. Okay, now me actually seeing it, like I've seen other videos, I've seen the old buck dancing ass niggas that was hanging around Bill Clinton and seeing the video. I seen that back and that stuff was from the 90s. I seen that, but just seeing this brother right here, they look like they were in their 40s. Their lives were pretty much taken away, and they're saying, well, I didn't actually have anything. This is ghost dope. This is a ghost conviction. This is a poltergeist conviction. You see what I'm saying? This is a Blumhouse conviction. Okay? Now, we're looking at, and me and you, we're not really looking at it. We're trying not to look at it from an emotional standpoint. The 94 crime bill really pisses me off. But let's look at this from a political campaign standpoint. You got some dude up there. You got Joe that can't even finish a sentence. He thinks his VP is Trump. He thinks that he thinks Putin is the president of Ukraine. And he helped pass, and you sent me that video. I'm gonna find that too. He bragged about creating the 94 crime bill. He bragged about it. And now you're going against two people now. You're saying, wait a minute, we have one presidential prime candidate that says, well, yeah, so they say he had a hooker in the White House and he was responsible for the Central Park 5, which in fact was the reason why those brothers were locked up, because of the remnants of the 1994 crime bill. Stop and frisk, all of that is remnants of the 1994 crime bill. So now America has a choice. Do I choose somebody that can't talk and has a crackhead son that actually should be charged under the 1994 crime bill, or do I pick somebody that has a overt, upfront white supremacist base that sent some niggas to jail, probably didn't rent to some people, wants to start building the wall, get some illegals out of the country? That's America's choice. That's where we're at right now. And you know what? I gotta say this. Now the Democrats don't even want Joe in. I mean, when you first sent me this stuff, I really didn't believe it. But then when I started looking at it, I'm like, oh, you got George Clooney. He's dropping out. All these folks is like, Joe got to go. I ain't about to put my money behind this nigga. That's a bad investment. Okay.
Yeah. Thing is, he's not going to drop out now.
Yeah, they at some point they gonna have to get him out of there, but they don't have nobody to replace. You gonna send in 20 acres and a mule? They're not gonna win this, bro. There's no way that they can win this. It's impossible.
If Kamala was smart, she would turn it down.
Right.
She'd turn it down and give herself another 4 years to build herself back up.
I agree. That would be smart right now. And you know what? What they should do is rally. They say, well, we lost the black vote. Because remember what you said. And I always want to remind, and I'm not bragging, but I want to remind the listeners. I saved Mr. Solomon $500. I'm going to say that until November.
Yeah.
I'm going to say that to November. I saved the $500. I said that's $500 more that he can invest in his trip to LA. And we'll talk about that in a minute. But yeah, man, I mean, if I was the Democrats, the smartest thing, and they're not going to do it. They could win this election if they really, truly want to, but they're not going to do it because, and I'm going to tell you why. Joe is in office. So now we can't blame Trump for anything. Trump is campaigning. We can't put nothing on Trump. We got to talk to the president right now. All right, Joe, you want the black vote? Pass an anti-black racism crime bill. Now, I'm going to bring a couple different points, so I'm going to hold the mic for quite a while here. The anti-black racism crime bill, one of the reasons, here's the reason why they don't want to pass that, because that means Joe got to go to jail. The anti-black racism crime bill. Now, you know how some people, there's a reparations thing going on. There's been rallies for reparations for black Americans, descendants of slaves, foundationals, Hebrews, whatever niggas want to call it. If your grandmama and your granddaddy was picking cotton for the last 200 years, yeah, that's, I think something broke. If they was picking cotton within this country within the last 300 to 400, 500 years, you're the descendants of slaves. And let's be very, very clear, because you got a bunch of Negroes that's running around talking about, well, man, I don't have any African ancestry. Yo, people at some point came from Africa, nigga. You just going to deal with it. That's just the bottom line. And there's been talks about, well, there was black folks before Columbus. Even if that's the case, your people at some point came from Africa. Now, you could argue with history and you could tell archaeologists that wasn't true, or you could say there was no dinosaurs, or you could say whatever. Now, the anti-black racism crime bill, what does that mean? Well, Bagland DP, I want to know, what is the anti-black racism crime bill? What that's going to do is, that's supposed to reverse the 94 crime bill and prosecute everyone that was involved because you have violated the Constitution against that's now a human rights issue. That goes above the U.S. Because, as people say, well, does that only work for black Americans with descendants of slaves? No. The anti-black racism crime bill means if you're a black immigrant, or if you have any melanated, if you have any African descent, in the soil of the U.S. and you're walking around and a white dude walks up to you and says, yeah, you N-I-G-G, he's getting gaffled up. That's a hate crime, as it should be. That's why they don't want to pass it. That's my first point. Here's number 2. Oh, you're black. We didn't give you a loan because, yeah, your house is worth more than white people. Crime bill. You getting gaffled up for that. You getting gaffled up for that. Okay, number 3. Well, I didn't like her hair. It doesn't look quote unquote white enough. Why is she wearing these dreadlocks to work? Crime bill. Hillary Clinton, crime bill. Jim Crow Joe, crime bill. Everybody that signed that 94 crime bill, now you're being charged against a violation of human rights. These were draconian laws, remember? You pass laws, you pass science fiction laws, you pass ghost poltergeist Blumhouse laws to give somebody that didn't necessarily have crack. These are laws against crimes against humanity. Because see, now you got to make black Americans human. You can't treat us like 3/5 of a human anymore. Crime bill. Life with no parole. Remember what you said. You said all gang members should get 10 years. All race soldiers or law enforcement that harm a black person should get life. So now we got to go back and look at Joe. We got to go back and look at Kamala, the coons included. Remember all the Sambos, the Congressional Black Caucus? Them niggas getting locked up too. Because you sat around and you allowed them to pass laws and didn't say anything about reparations. You didn't say anything about Mike Brown and making sure that these folks got life parole with the death penalty on the table. The anti-black racism crime bill is retroactive. That don't start now, where you get a law enforcement, you get a suspected race soldier, some white dude that just got hired on the job that wants to hurt black people, so he beats up a black woman. Or like the cop in Kansas City been running around raping black women. No, that don't stop. That don't start just now. That goes all the way back. That goes back to the 94 crime bill. That goes back to Jim Crow. So we gonna dig up the bones. We gonna do all of it. See, the anti-black racism crime bill is retroactive. It should be like reparations. You don't stop paying us. You continue to pay us because most of the constitutions that benefited from the slave trade are still here, such as the banks. We can even go into the sports arena. Yeah, we can get deep. I'm saying the whole country, the whole government agreed to allowing black people to be mistreated this way. So everybody's going to get wrapped up in that, just like the Nuremberg trial. That's why that's why the Democrats are never going to pass an anti-black racism crime bill, bro. Nancy's going to jail. All y'all niggas going to jail because you had something to do with it. You had something to do with the black people that was violated against the Constitution. Because remember, the Constitution don't protect us. That's why they won't pass the crime bill.
It's not even those who benefited in the past. You got to think. For Democrats, it's a very tricky slope because if they pass those bills that you're talking about, they're going to also alienate their fan base too, because just because somebody's a Democrat doesn't mean that they're not racist.
Right.
You know, so when you put an anti-black hate crime bill out there, guess what happens? Like I said, you could open up a court system just for that. Because, so you mean to tell me every time a black man's told, shut your black ass up, get your black ass out of here, shut up, you fucking nigger.
Crime bill. Yes, sir. Crime bill.
So guess what's going to happen? So what happens when the Democrat passes that or even talks about that? He's not only pissing off real Republican race soldiers, he's pissing off race soldiers in his own crew, in his own party.
Let's go further. Hey, you're a young black kid. I know you're a 3-year-old boy. Don't you want to be a girl? Don't you want to put this on? Crime bill. I'm a parent. I want my son to be an upstanding citizen and pass the Bagland name. I want my genetics to be passed on. I want my son to own a farm. And you're telling him he's a bald eagle, but he could be a beluga whale. Crime bill. See that? See, like you just said. You see, I'm opening up. The doors are kicking down. There's a movie, and I talk about this, and they stole a lot of funk from James Brown. But anyway, it's called the B movie. Seinfeld was one of the people behind it, and I know you probably don't watch cartoons, but I suggest any of my listeners to consider watching the B movie. What humans were doing is they were selling honey. And one of the bees jumped up one day and said, wait a minute. These humans are selling honey. We making all the honey. We going to all the flowers. We're pollinating all the flowers. Damn it, I want a crime bill. Seriously, that's what and it was a lot of Jewish people involved and stuff like that. So he'd make little Jewish jokes, and Seinfeld's Jewish. You know what I'm saying? So he made a lot of Jewish jokes and stuff like that, but he was really talking about reparations. So the humans, he was like he took them to court. The same thing I told you that's happening with the black folks is taking California to court for reparations, because you know they allowed slavery in California as well. A lot of people don't know that. But Seinfeld was acting as the bee, and he basically wanted reparations. He basically said, wait a minute, humans, you know, you got honeybees, you have honey in the stores, you have actors and celebrities that's putting their faces on honey. This is we need some reparations for this. Y'all are reaping all the benefits and we're doing all the damn work, and y'all making trillions and trillions of dollars. So he took them to court. You know what I'm saying? And won. So what eventually started happening at the very beginning is, if you see a woman that's pouring a little honey in her tea, the feds just came in and grabbed her, threw her in the paddy wagon. There was a bear. There was a bear, and you know bears like honey, so they gaffled the bear up. Anything that had to do with honey, they had hell to pay, because they had to get reparations. Now, what eventually happened is, as you know, the bees don't pollinate the flowers anymore. What happens when bees don't pollinate flowers? Nothing grows. Honeybees are, if we ain't got no honeybees, we ain't got life. They're the circle of life. They have to, you know, so if you look at the American slave trade, that was a circle of life. It made America a world power. Now, every time you see conservative race soldiers, what they'll say is, oh, well, you know, that we helped build the railroad too and all that. Black folks was on the railroad. You can't really find other people on the railroad, that they always say. You can't find, most of the videos you look up, people on the railroad building the railroad is black folk. So they bring a lot of capoeira and martial arts to that. But, you know, the fact of the matter is this America is a world power because of the descendants of the slaves. You stole black folk from Africa and you made them work for free for hundreds of years. That was very, very wealthy. That is the base bone of wealth of America. Now, some people will say, they'll try to say that, well, that ain't the case. We did this and we did that. If it was so popping in Europe and everything was so great, you would have stayed your ass in Europe.
African Americans built this nation. You built this nation. You know, you're just starting to get real credit for that. Okay, I don't know if you know that. You're just starting to you built the nation. We all built it, but you were such a massive part of it. Bigger than you were given credit for. Does that make sense? Right?
Oh no, he was doing this pandering, but it was true. It's true, man. You know, and so that crime bill, man, that crime bill could go far and wide. That's why they won't pass the crime bill, because like you said, the crime bill is gonna lock up a bunch of liberals, a bunch of Democrats. It's gonna lock them all up because they had something to do with it. You had something to do with undermining black Americans, prioritizing people that are not from this country among the descendants of the slaves. That crime bill, can you imagine the feds raiding damn near every political office across the nation? We wouldn't even have a government anymore. They're not going to pass that anti-black racism crime bill. As you said, they can't. But guess what? If they want to win the election, they could try.
Well, they can't. What you say, win the election, what I was trying to say is, when you do that as a Democrat, okay, you're making blacks happy with you, but then guess what you're doing? You're upsetting your white Democrats. They don't want that either. White Democrats, you don't hear them ever say anything about reparations.
No.
They'll say, hey, stop killing niggas, stop police brutality, this and that, minimum wage. blacks need more rights. You never hear a white motherfucker say anything about reparations when they're protested. Because whether you're Democrat, whether you're Republican, you know that money's coming out of your pocket. Whether you're a Democrat or a Republican, the idea is reparations. We all paying that, so nah, fuck that. Let a white Democrat speak realistically about reparations. Let him do it on his campaign. Let him do it. His ass is losing tomorrow morning. He's going to lose in a landslide because he's going to lose from his own party and the other party. As soon as a white Democrat starts saying anti-black crime bill, as soon as a white Democrat starts saying reparations, he might as well resign. He'll be on Joe Biden's status, and he didn't even say that.
Yeah. Hey, Joe.
You know,
they asked
and then
Joe.
think of this. I heard Trump just on that little clip praise African Americans, whether it was he believed it or not. That's a whole nother story. You know what I mean? But
right.
Praise African Americans more in about 30 seconds than I heard Obama do in 8 years.
Facts. Big facts. Facts.
Obama never spoke to blacks like I'm one of them. I'm with y'all. We're together. He never spoke like that.
He never even said just what I play. He never even said that.
No, that's not even. That's a lot. There ain't too many white people ever I've heard say some shit like that, especially that were Republican.
Even pandering.
Ain't nobody pandering like that. I think even me and a lot of people were just blindly hating on Trump without really looking at things and how it really is. That man said this country was built on the back of a black man. I never heard. There's not too many white people in the world I've heard say that.
Well, they're not going to admit it. They're going to say, oh, it was other people or whatever. And he said we all built it. So I know, like for his base, he put that in there too. He knows what he's doing. He's not stupid. He said we all built it. He said, but you guys are you did so much. In so many words, y'all niggas did all the damn work. But you know, I got you know, I don't want to mess up my base too much. So, but yeah, all y'all niggas did the work. You did all the damn work. But you're just getting credit for that. You haven't heard that, like the Democrats say that they haven't, and we've been the most loyal to them. Now check this out.
Democrats say that because you got to think. Just because you're a Democrat, if you even argue intently with a black motherfucker, you could catch a hate crime.
Right.
That changes the ramifications. It's like as white people, I don't care. I should have a right to be able to curse a black.
Right. Free country.
You know, I should be able to curse a black. Fuck that shit. And it could be misconstrued. They're going to look at it in a whole another way. Because think about it. If you want to say a hate crime bill, when Joe Biden said he called black predators, hey, that could be considered a hate speech.
Right.
Go charge him.
Yeah.
When he said if you're not black, if you don't vote for me,
you ain't black.
That could be considered a hate speech. Lock them up.
You ain't black.
From white people, it's been embedded in their DNA that we can disrespect blacks.
Right. Yeah.
You know, we can disrespect blacks, and you can't take that right from us. You know, and that's how they're looking at that. You hear a white motherfucker say something like that, he's done. So that's where the problem for the foundational black race comes in my opinion, is they're looking for something that neither party can give them. And the key word is give. Neither party can give, but either party will willingly give it away during negotiation. Give and take. The one thing neither party is going to do is give the black man, the foundational black woman, anything unless they're forced to. And through osmosis, through the way that people have been conditioned to vote, I don't have to tell the black man that I'm going to give him all these things. He's still voting for me. Look at the beginning of time.
Yeah. Yeah.
Look at the beginning of time. Why do I have to do that? All I have to do is what Hillary Clinton, just pander, don't make any promises. Don't make any promises. Just feel their pain and be compassionate and then move on.
Yep.
Slowly it's starting to change. Floyd did a lot to the Floyd situation did a lot to unite people. I think the Asian crime bill, people seeing that the Asians got a crime bill, wait a minute, how come they getting one? What the fuck? You know? And what Biden did in these 4 years is no different than what every Democrat has done in the beginning of time, including Obama. Pander to black people during the campaign trail.
I want to read
and
something.
That's it.
I want to read something to you. I want to read two things to you. The first thing is, this is an old tweet from some years ago I saved. You know, I'm an archivist. I save a lot of pictures and stuff and receipts. This is a Native woman by the name of Kim Tallbear. And this is what she said. Now, I haven't seen this tweet in a real long time, but she made this tweet. And I think she's like I'm not exactly sure who she is, but I think she's somebody, a respected leader in the Native community. She said, Biden and other clueless white Democrats need to stop bringing Native American people into reparations convo. We have treaty and other rights. Reparations is not our avenue. They showed their historical and legal ignorance while they try to deflect from black people's demands. So she's saying, hey, reparations ain't for natives. We got our bread. We got our treaty. You need to pay these niggas. You're deflecting. Every time black people ask for it, you're deflecting. They're supposed to get reparations. They have a legal right and a moral right and a historical right to reparations. Now, one thing I want you to kind of revisit before I go to the next subject of this letter that Dr. Claude Anderson wrote to Obama, I believe. You said that that black folks had America by the balls in the George Floyd thing, and they should have asked for it. They should have demanded for it then.
Yeah, well, the difference with Foundation Blacks and every other race or organization in America, Foundational Blacks do not have a spokesman, do not have a hierarchy that you can talk to. Asians, you can go down Hmong, Laos, all of them. There's a hierarchy, state to state to state, representatives in every state, and then there's a head. There's heads in every state, then there's a head. Right? So what happens is, if Foundational Blacks would have had that, so let's just say, for instance, let's say gays in America were rioting in the same token that blacks were during Floyd. This is gays doing that. There is gay representation that Biden or whatever would talk to and say, hey, what the fuck? How can this stop?
Right.
Well, we're going to need this, and this, and this, and this, and this, and this. Boom, 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 boom. Within a week, that shit's over. Similar to war. Think of a war. The black race is going to war with no leaders. It's just a bunch of soldiers. They can put in work, but when it's time to negotiate that ceasefire, them soldiers are worthless. You feel what I'm saying?
Right.
Now you want to negotiate a ceasefire. You want to end this war in a way where everybody can win. Them soldiers ain't the ones that's in that negotiating room. You feel me?
Yeah, the soldiers. Yeah.
Foundation Blacks got the soldier part down pat, but they don't have the hierarchy, and that comes from something you said earlier. That just comes from diluting the history, diluting all of it, and that's where that comes from. Because natives know where their tribes are. Natives have a head. What we see here is the low end of natives. But trust me when I tell you, there's a high end.
Yeah, absolutely.
There's a high end, and here's the difference. The high end cares about the low end.
And she was from the high end. I could tell she was from the high end.
Yeah. Now, how many natives have you ever seen in your life say the white man don't owe me shit?
How many have I seen?
Yeah. How many have you seen say the white man shouldn't owe us nothing?
You know, I could say this. I'll tell you a quick little 25-second story. When I was on the bus, and I was with my mom, and we were on the number 2 going down Franklin. This had to have been in 94, 93, something like that, maybe. And it was a drunk native dude And he didn't really want to get off the bus, and the white dude was driving the bus. And, he was getting real belligerent with the bus driver. And, the bus driver was kind of talking crazy to him. And so the native dude gets drunk. He was lit. And he gets jumped out and be like, you white. He called him a cracker or something. And he said, you white cracker, you stole my land.
Yeah.
He said, you stole. He kept saying it before he finally got off the bus. You stole my land. And I asked my mom when we got off the bus, I guess when we got to our destination, I said, Mom, what was going on? She said, yeah, he did.
He stole his land, which is why you see them, they feel they can just post up anywhere and sleep.
So I said, what? I said, he stole his land? That guy stole his land? And then my mom was like, the bus driver probably didn't steal his land, but he's talking about the white man that stole it. But he looked at the white man as a race soldier because he's kicking him off the bus. So that, I was a kid, so she's trying to explain it to me in a way where I know and I said, well, how would one man steal all his land? And, she was like, they stole it. At some point, it was some folks that came, stole their land, and then threw them on a reservation. And I said, is that why he's getting drunk? And my mom was like, yes. He's getting drunk because he doesn't have to deal with that reality. But I never forget that when he was getting off the bus, he said, you white devil, you stole my land. And then he got off the bus.
But look, so if you see it, now look, so you don't hear influential natives or any native at all ever say we're not owed nothing by the white man. Right?
Right.
Now go to gays. How many gays do you see in this world, whether they got money or not? They're going to say, oh, yeah, this world is good for gays. We don't need any more rights. We're good. None. I don't care if it's a gay that makes $1 or if a gay that makes $1 million. They're locked up in that. Yeah, we're gays. We need to be married. We need to be doing all this. We need to be paying marriage taxes, all that. Adoption. We need all that, right? You're not going to hear a gay say we don't want all the amenities. We don't want what we're owed as people, right?
Right.
Okay.
Right.
But look, I've never seen an African American that makes over $1 million say, yeah, let me get that reparations. You can go from Steve Harvey on down.
No, they won't talk. Yeah, Steve Harvey gonna tell you, you ain't gonna get no reparations. We ain't gonna get it. He don't even fight for it.
Anybody that's rich, I've never heard any rich black man ever fight for reparations. Like, where's my money? Because I'm good. I got mine. So from this point forward, I'm telling you and I'm telling your listeners, this is the last time I am coming on the Bagland podcast and I'm hearing about reparations without any discussion of how you're going to get it. That's enough. The conversation of African Americans, foundational blacks, are owed reparations has been said enough. It's clear as day. You can be the most racist human being in the world. If you're being honest with yourself, you will say, yes, foundations are owed. Let's discuss how you're going to get the money. Discuss that. DP, I'm challenging you. No more conversations about what you're owed. Talk about how blacks can go about getting it. Because when I hear foundations continuously talk about how they're owed reparations, you know what it sounds like to me? A broken record. You know what else it sounds like to me? It's just a bunch of smart black people that want you to know they're smart. You feel me? I'm just saying in general. Even Tariq. I never hear a plan. How are we going to get this money? This is how we're going to get. You know why? There's never any talk about a plan? Because it's all a dream. When a foundational speaks about reparations, he's speaking the 100% truth.
But what is the plan?
If the foundational were to say the plan part, now you start talking about dreams.
Now, what about the lawyers that I mentioned to you in California that are working on it? What about the lawyers in California that are working on the getting?
Those are Democratic attorneys that are trying to get you to vote for whoever is in that district that's voting. Because I guarantee you, there will never be reparations on a city level, on a county level. before it's on a federal level. That's insane.
So you're saying the U.S. government, the feds have to pay? They do. That they would be the ones that you would go to, the federal government, because the federal government enacted the state, just like the crime bill, to say, put them niggas on the plantation. Now you said they're good. You mentioned the term Steve Harvey on them. You said they're good. You said to anybody,
they're good.
Now I've heard Clyburn say the same thing. They asked Clyburn, "Hey man, do you want some reparations? Do you want something out of Joe Biden?" He said, "I'm good. I don't need nothing."
See? So if natives were saying the same thing, if it's the influential natives that got these bummy ass natives their check. You feel what I'm saying? These bum ass natives that you see around here, they were not sophisticated enough to go get a check. It's the influential people that got them that check. You feel me? It's the influential natives that got these bummy ass natives their money because they didn't think that way. It's the influential gays that got gays all these rights. It's not the bum ass gay that ain't working, that's lame, sitting at the fucking Greyhound station. That ain't who got it. It's the influential motherfucker that got it. It's not even the native revolutionary that goes and protests. He ain't the reason they got their money. It's not the gay that stands and protests everywhere. That's not the reason they got their money. That's because they had influential people within their race or their organization that pushed for that shit.
Some people that had money?
Now, influential people that got money and influence. Natives, like, you talking about, you would never be surprised how many some celebrities you see, you don't even know they're native. Wayne Newton, these kind of motherfuckers, you don't even know these people are Native American. Dana White from the UFC, you don't even know that because they just look and care. When you see a native, see, we're conditioned to see natives around here, all right? But if you see a native with money, that's the most arrogant human being in America.
Dana White, you're saying he's native.
Dana White's a part native. You know, what's his name? Wayne Newton.
Oh, so he's a $5 Indian. Okay, yeah, with money.
What you're not hearing me is when you got a Steve Harvey, a Cedric the Entertainer, a Shannon Sharp, a Stephen A. Smith, these kind of people say, "Nah, we ain't owed nothing." To you, that you might just hear it and go, "Oh man, that's just a cool man." But the reality is, those are the people that are supposed to get it for you.
Right.
The Shaquille O'Neal, the LeBron Jameses. These are influential African Americans. But what are they doing? Out of all those guys I've named, have you ever heard reparations come out of their mouth?
No, they don't want to upset the status quo because they like how they live, and they'll be like, "Man, fuck them niggas. Man, I don't care about them."
Who is the richest foundational you've ever heard campaign for reparations?
I mean, Jordan never said anything. None of, like you said, none of them.
Who? Yeah. So now, I just told you two organizations / races that got theirs. One was gays. They got theirs from white America. One was Asian. They got theirs from white natives too. So 3. All 3 of them. There's hierarchy. When you see something called, and this is for you and your listeners, when you go somewhere and you're driving and you see a building that says community center for these people, Hmong community center, Laos community center, gay community center, when you see those things, know that those are in every state.
Right, yeah, they are.
And then when you go in that building, that Hmong building, there's a boss. There's the head of the Minnesota Hmong community. Then there's the head of the Wisconsin Hmong, the Chicago, and then they answer to the embassy. You feel me? So you start to see how things connect. So when foundational blacks stop talking about what they're owed and start thinking in the terms of how we're going to get it, the next conversation is going to come unity. Because you'll realize now that we're talking about a plan, that plan can't come together unless we can all speak the same language and all can unitedly speak to somebody. I guarantee you every dollar in my bank account, if there was a Claude Anderson who was the head of Black America or any kind of black infrastructure, could have got reparations or anything you wanted. any dead land in America, they'd have gave it to blacks. But it was because out of all these organizations that got what they wanted out of white America, none of them did what happened during Floyd. No race or organization in America has the ability to shut shit down like blacks do.
Right.
Because blacks have what? Soldiers. They have that part down pat. If this is a war against white America, blacks have the soldier part down pat. Now, where's the technical ability? Where is the technical negotiations? Where is the head? So you got a race of people that's going multiple different ways, but want the same thing. So when I hear Shaquille O'Neal, or LeBron James, or any of these Angel Reese, any of these influential black people, once they start talking about reparations, the conversation will change. It will change from, damn, are we really owed that? Or how much are we owed? Or what are we really owed? Damn, yeah, we are owed. Yeah, we owed because they lied to us and said this and that. We owed. Conversation will change until that happens. But guess what? Every other organization that's gotten their side of the white man has that.
Do you think that some of the people, like the famous people, do you think the folks that's paying them, NFL, NBA, whatever it is, record labels, do you think that they ever tell some of these folks, these black folks, listen, nigga, don't you ever say nothing about no reparations, or we gonna cut your record deal, we gonna cut your deal, don't do it. That's part of your deal. Don't mention nothing too revolutionary. Don't mention reparations.
Now I want you and your listeners to look up a guy named Jaylen Brown, who plays NBA for the Boston Celtics. He just won the NBA championship, and he was Finals MVP. He's the highest paid player in the NBA at $300 million.
Yeah.
He never gets picked for certain things because he's very political. Like Nike has a problem with him because when Nike cut Kyrie Irving, he's the only person who spoke out against that.
So they're afraid of his voice.
Yeah, so now they're picking guys for the Olympic Dream Team. And he's clearly one of the top players in the NBA. He'd be on the team, but he didn't get picked.
I'm looking at this. Post a cryptic response after being passed up for Team USA in favor of Celtics Derek White.
A player who's not as good as him, that's on his same team, but is not as good, clearly not as good as him. Yeah, he's clearly not on that team because he speaks up for political issues, and he upset Nike, who runs that whole thing.
So he ain't one of these Negroes that's a get along, go get along. Oh, I'm not going to say nothing. He going to speak his mind.
Yeah.
So you're saying if he starts rocking the boat too much, they might try to, well, I don't think they could bench him right now, but they'll start threatening him.
No. See, the thing is NBA contracts are guaranteed. So he can say whatever the fuck he wants. It's not like football. And Kaepernick was in a bad situation when he did that. Kaepernick, his contract was coming up. So when he was doing that, he wasn't bound to he didn't have an existing contract that the team had to honor. Jaylen Brown has a $300 million contract over 5 years. They have to honor that, whether he speaks out about this or that or whatever. And if they had a problem with him, they could not sign him. You know what I mean? But he spoke up after he got his money. He was smart.
Now, I want to ask you something else, too. Earlier, we talked about... Now, I got this question about Africa United, right? Now, I asked you before, if Africa could be united as a whole, you said no, and you sent me something that says Africa is the biggest cemetery for Africans. And
that was David Banner.
You said David Banner said it, or he said? I seen something that said with Putin on it.
That was David Banner that was doing the talking, though. Or David Banner was reading what Putin said.
Oh, okay. So he said Africans is the biggest cemetery from Africans. What does he mean by that?
He's saying is they spend their money with China, they spend their money over here, they spend their money over there, they do this, and they don't. What he's saying is they don't invest their money in Africa.
Now, why is that?
Well, the thing is the first thing you have to put into context is Africa is not like America. North America is a continent, right, that everyone speaks the same language.
Okay.
Everyone believes in well, I can't say everyone believes in the same God, but everyone speaks the same language. Africa is however many countries, you can times the languages by 2 or 3.
Right.
So there's never going to be a such thing as United Africa, because it's just how. There's never any conflict in Africa. If you notice something, there's never conflict amongst 2 different countries usually. So like Zimbabwe and Congo, they don't go to war. The war would be within Zimbabwe, within the tribes of that country.
Okay.
So it's hard to equate it to America. To say Africa to be united, I don't even know what that term means. To say why aren't the countries united with each other would be a better term, because Ethiopia, Eritrea, any country you can name in Africa, whatever problems they have, they're inner problems.
So if I went over there and I get told if I went over there and said, hey, niggas need to stop fighting, y'all need to come together, what would their response be?
Where?
Anywhere.
Where are you going?
Anywhere.
Everywhere doesn't have problems.
So you're saying that you got to go to that tribe that's having issues. And
right, if there's 4 tribes in the country, or there's 2 tribes, say there's 2 tribes in the country, them 2 tribes are going to battle it out to see who's the number 1 tribe, who runs the money in that country.
So if I go over there, and I'm just like that lady from Black Lives Matter, and I go to T. Gray and other places, and I say, hey, we all black. We don't need to be fighting. Let's all come together and kick all the race soldiers out. Would they basically be like, nigga, shut the fuck up?
Race soldiers aren't there. Race soldiers aren't there. But if you said that, they would tell you, go tell them that. Go tell the other part that.
So if I said, hey, wait a minute. I know y'all got beef. So if I said, y'all got beef. Now, you don't see no white man, but I know that he's the real reason as to why y'all in these conditions. And y'all need to come together, and you need to sue Europe for reparations. Would they basically just tell me, hey, nigga, shut the fuck up and go back to America? You don't know shit.
Yep. This stuff, it would be like an African coming to America and telling you, let everything go with the white man. That shit was a long time ago. Let it go.
Pulling an Akon.
Well, see, the thing is I was just talking to a friend of mine the other day. It's something I hear you saying a lot too. It's like when you look at the average foreigner, no matter where he's from, and you go, well, why aren't they standing with foundationals? Why aren't they standing with us? We could use their allies and this and that. I'll paint you a scenario that will make it very simple for you and your listeners. Very simple. Say right now, you and your listeners had to go to Africa. Let's say Trump and them just got tired and they said, I don't give a fuck, all y'all getting out of here.
Right.
Say you had to go to Eritrea. We'll just use that as a conversation piece. Say you had to go there. And you got your wife, your kids, all this and that. Guess what you're thinking? How the fuck can I eat? How can I make some money in this motherfucker? Who's hiring? What can I do here? You're not going to go there, start going into the infrastructure of that country and go, oh, these guys aren't being treated well. These guys are the ones that are being treated bad. Fuck you, fuck you. You don't know enough. Not only do you not know enough about that country, you don't even know where your meal's coming from. I got to get my footing in here. I got to know what I'm doing.
Right.
Before I start banging on who's being suppressed. It's for all.